Okay, so this is the secondary student who's a 10th grader, and this is his reading lesson that he did.
Okay. Main idea. I love that it was main idea. Main idea is something that we work on. Geez Louise, from I know second grade all the way through, and I think it's because it's so important. It's hard. It's hard. I could tell from the lesson that he was engaged. He knew what was expected out of him. He knew what he needed to be working on. You can see from his practice that he got it. He knew what he was supposed to do. So those procedures, again, you can tell they've been taught. He knows what's expected of him, and that goes a long way for these students even learning these new skills. Is as long as I know what's expected of me, they want to give you what you want. And you could tell that with him, that he was eager to do what you needed. But you can see I'm still struggling too.
Right.
It's still hard for me.
Right.
I think a lot of times our job is to not make it easy for them, but show them that they can do it even if it's hard. And they've not had a lot of success there. I think it's super interesting that he is all resource and no self-contained. That's huge. I wish we had more of that at the lower levels, that they could have all resource, because we have kids that could get there, but they can't go into a regular classroom. And you know, down here, there's too much time spent in a regular classroom for even some of these. We've got a few that will go across to resource and come back and make it, but it's hard at this level. So I think that's great that as they're getting older, they're getting to expand that and be inclusive in more areas.
If you notice, he does very well about picking out the main idea or finding the topic.
Yes.
But I noticed that sometimes he was just highlighting any sentences that was after the topic, you know, after that.
He thought they were all details.
Yeah.
Don't realize that some of them just fill in information, but aren't really a detail that supports it. And that may be, you know, where they go next with him, where you go next with him, or I liked this activity, that independent practice where you're giving me details about these things. This is your topic. So breaking it down more. I had never looked at even breaking a writing assignment, a reading assignment down into, well, I'm going to give you the topic. You give me the details. And he can. I mean, he had some good details in here. What popcorn?
And I mean, he went to work when I gave it to him. I mean, he was writing, and he'd lift up his head and he'd think a little bit, and then he'd write some more. And I mean, I only said, give me 2. It's all I want. And he gave me 3 on most of them. And on this one,
well, some of them you can see his sentences carrying over.
Okay.
It looks like 3 facts, but he's just a super long sentence writer.
Okay. Well, one of them he was saying, well, I can only do 2. And I said, well, remember I said you could just do 2. That's fine. So, I mean, he was really trying to please.
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
He's a sweetheart.
And that's a good connection. That when you get them to wanting to please you.
Caroline, let's go.
When you get them to wanting to please you, then you can get them opened up and wanting to learn the things that they're missing.
Did you see his expression when he read the paragraph about the boy with the hood?
I guess I missed it.
Okay. Well, I wrote this story about the boy with the hood, and he started reading it, and he stopped and went, "What?" And what I wrote about this new student coming in, and he wore a hood over his head, and you know the people were looking around.
Victoria, go back out, please.
Hey, Mama.
I need you to go back out, please.
I need a change.
Go back out, please. Thank you.
I need a change.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So go ahead.
Okay. Well, then I put it in there like the students were thinking, why's he got a hood on? Because we can't wear hoods, so why's he got a hood on? But it turns out that the boy is moved into this area because he's going to get treatment at a hospital, and that's why he's wearing the hood.
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, I knew that he had to have a bald head or something like that, you know. But he said,
so he was already trying to figure out what are the reasons that would be okay, or would I want
right.
that
And that's
for
why
me?
that's why I was telling him that you are thinking about your thinking when you were doing that, you know.
That's,
so.
and that's fun to see.
Yes.
You know, it's fun to see that, oh, he's processing that. What else can I write? I've said this. And yeah, when you can see them thinking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to open them up and watch those wheels turn. I like to hear a lot of my kids, you know, verbalize their thoughts as they're working and processing. And you can learn a ton just by listening to them process out loud. They need to process out loud. They don't realize you can do it silently. And to hear that, you go, well, there's more skills there. They did get that skill and that concept.
Yes.
Okay, we're ready to move on. So
Yes.
that's cool to see for him that he can just pick them up and process through and tell you his thought process. I knew there was a reason.
And I probably could have increased the level of these, because I kept asking him, you know, is there any vocabulary that you have a problem with, you know, before you start finding the main idea and the details. And every one of them he said, no, I don't. I know all the words.
Yeah.
So, you know, I could have increased the vocabulary part, you
Well,
know, in passages, but
it's super hard when you figure that out in a kid that you're going to work with continually every day. Oh, I can step that up for him. He's breezing through these. And it's a little harder when you're just picking a kid and doing this lesson with them to really know how much you can push. And two, not having that trust of she's going to help me through if I can't do it by myself.
Right.
He probably needed something super okay and easy.
More independent.
Yeah,
for him.
to have that trust of I can do this by myself,
Right.
and I don't have to depend on her to help me.
Right.
So that may have been even the success of it for him, that he could have some independence with it. I'm liking that in all your lessons, technology is an aspect of it. That's where we're going. And it used to be, I don't want to see kids on computers every day. We need to.
Yes.
They need to be able to do these things. That's the world we're going to.
Right. One thing that I try to not do though is that when they're doing, when they come in, I don't want them to be on the computer the whole time. You know, unless we've talked about it and they're still just finishing up on their practice.
Right.
But I do want to have some sort of instruction time.
Absolutely.
You know, so that before they come in here, they're not on the computer the whole time, and I'm not talking to them. You know, that I do walk around and ask them they need help and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there needs to be some instruction time.
Absolutely. But still, you're pulling in an aspect of technology that they're getting technology in every lesson in some form or fashion, and still getting paper pencil and still getting independent writing skills. So I think you're doing great about being sure you're getting some of all of it in your lessons. Yeah, super great. And again, the vocabulary, you know, that you're calling them graphic organizers, that this is what they are and that's what they're going to be referred to. So you can say, hey, did you use a graphic organizer? Which one are you going to pick today? Yeah, and they already know them. They know that terminology and know how to use them. Yeah, you can tell that those foundations were set.
Yeah, and I think that this student, he's very visual, you know, and so that those type of tools is very helpful for him.
Well, and he sees too, PowerPoint is what's used in high school. PowerPoint's what's used in college classes, and that's where he's going. He needs to be comfortable with those things and familiar enough with them that he doesn't shut down and can't do it when he does have those.
Yeah.
And he's getting to do the same thing everybody else is doing. Nothing any different.
Yeah.
Did you have concerns about the lesson other than maybe it was too independent for him, and as far as instructional, it, could have made it harder, but
Yeah, that was the only thing. I mean, I did lots of, like, there's five,
several.
yeah, five different passages there just for independent practice, and then for the exit ticket there was the same thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I just wanted him to have enough practice and everything, and it be varied, from one topic to the other.
Sure. Yeah, I thought you did a great job.
All right.